Lakers losing to the Pelicans on Saturday, despite the fact that Anthony Davis didn't log a single minute. LeBron scored 27 points, 12 assists in that game, and he shared some concerns afterward with the Lakers' sense of urgency. Take a listen.
Last few years, everybody's so accustomed to the losses that I'm just not accustomed to. I'm not accustomed to it. I would never get comfortable with losing. When you've never been there or know what it takes to actually, shoot for something like that, and sometimes you're afraid to get uncomfortable. Sometimes we feel like we're afraid to be uncomfortable, kind of get out of our comfort zone, have that sense of urgency, from the jump, and not be afraid to actually go out and fail to succeed. So, we have, 23 games left, and see what happens.
You gotta love LeBron with the jump shot. No, you talked to me this morning about his comments. How do you feel about them?
I just don't think you get to say that yet. You just got back from injury. Their problems are obviously on the defensive end. They're fine scoring. Their problems are on the defensive end. So unless he's becoming that kind of defensive player all game long and leading their defense, I don't know that you get to say that right now. Yes, of course he's LeBron James and he's won championships and he has that kind of experience, but he just got back. So if you're going to lead, it has to be at the defensive end. And right now, all I'm hearing in those comments is distancing himself from his younger teammates who already may have some resentment about whatever he may feel about them and trades for Anthony Davis. Mm-hmm. So that's not going to help bring people together. What it's going to do is light a fire under them. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's what Magic Johnson was trying to say a couple weeks ago when he was like, grow up. Mm-hmm. You're going to hear your name in trade talk. So fine, I like tough love too, but at this stage, there's not a lot of trust that's been established there, and there certainly isn't on the defensive end of the ball.
And for LeBron to be talking about sense of urgency when he has coasted defensively throughout the season, as much as anybody in the league and certainly anybody on that roster, if I'm one of his younger teammates, I'm kind of looking at him saying, we have the sense of urgency issue. You're the guy who said you had to, get activated. What is it? Playoff LeBron's activated or postseason mode's activated. Maybe it's not as easy for everybody else on that roster just to hit that activation switch.
Look, I have been saying since July, I don't really understand the roster construction of this team, and they made some tweaks at the trade deadline to add more shooting, but I think if they had started that in July, it would have been maybe a different story going forward, and even through some of the tumultuous times and the injury to LeBron and everything that they've had. But the roster construction does not explain a loss to the Pelicans without Anthony Davis. It does not explain the loss to the Hawks. It doesn't explain the loss to the Knicks, to the Cavaliers. There have just been a lot of really bad losses, and the fact that a lot of them have come sandwiched around, say, the Lakers. I was at the Staples Center when they beat the Rockets, right? So they are able to rise to the occasion. So those players and the quality of those players. Yeah, maybe it's not such a bad thing that they've got the fifth hardest strength of schedule left. The quality of those players, I don't think the quality is the wrong word. I don't think the fit is quite right, and I would not expect them to go to the NBA Finals with this roster. But clearly the fit is enough that they are beating some good teams. So when they're not beating teams that are, in some cases, trying to lose basketball games, to me, that goes deeper. Yeah,
they got another one tonight against Memphis, right? This is a team they're going to be without their great young player even right now.
It's funny. You should mention that. I want to get to what LeBron said this morning at shoot-around before the Memphis game. He was asked about complacency and exactly what you're talking about, Ramona, about the idea of, hey, we've got a team that's struggling. We're going to play them. How are we going to play them? Take a listen.
We struggle. we can't be looking past nobody. We struggling too, so we don't have the privilege of looking past anybody.
Pretty.
Yeah, he's right. I'm hearing a lot of echoes of the end of Kobe's career in the way that LeBron is talking right now too. LeBron's obviously a much better player right now than Kobe was in the last couple of years of his career when he had the same young core around him. LeBron's still the best player in the game, in my opinion, when he's healthy. But I think that it sounds like that. It sounds like there's not really a we here. There's not really a bond here. And I guess as a leader, sometimes it's the carrot and the stick, right? Sometimes you have to incentivize these guys. Sometimes you have to be praising them, and other times you have to be harsh on them. What they really are is missing Lonzo Ball right now, it's turned into a great defensive player for them, and is really, you can see just statistically since he's been out, their defense has collapsed. But LeBron is at this stage, it's me and they. not we.
I also just have to wonder whether he's just a little, I mean, he has played now, he is deep into his second season. Forget without another elite player on his team.
Yeah.
He's deep into his second season without another all-star, right? Because
Yeah.
Kevin Love's injuries and everything like
Yep.
that. So, I mean, look, Kevin was able to come back, so he was able to have that component for the playoffs. But gosh, man, I mean, I can see what, to your point, that he's just sort of going through a little bit more of the motions than the we, and that's not going to cut it, right? For the rest of the season.
And it's got to fall a lot on Luke Walton to bridge this gap. Like, whatever he's got to do, I mean, it's a tough situation he's put in, not just to start the year, but, I mean, coaching LeBron James is a blessing and a curse, right? It is to whom much is given, much is expected. So this is the job now. Figure out how to bring them together.
Yeah, coaching LeBron's also usually a temporary assignment.
Well, Ty Lue lasted quite a while, I would say,
Well.
until after LeBron left, and then 6 games later they were like, never mind.